give us an update on the UNOPS and the prison renovation project. I remember when you first took office, you said you had gotten information that the money, the $2 million that were guaranteed by the Dutch, were going to be taken back. Were you able to keep that money on island and so that the project at the prison would continue?
Well, Bibi, like I say, I'm going to be very transparent. I have mentioned before that allegedly there are criminal activities in the prison. There are different unrest that's going on within the prison. I was also informed from the executive part of my ministry that there's a possible sexual harassment against UNOPS personnel. It is something that is being looked into at this moment, because how it came over to the minister, came over to my person, is that it's either UNOPS or the individual that is allegedly harassing or sexually harassing the UNOPS personnel has to go. This week, as I have came back, because I learned about it the same day I was leaving to head to Europe, and today it is one thing that's on my agenda to deal with. I take every single thing within this ministry very seriously, and yes, that discussion will be forthcoming before the end of this week with regards to the allocations of the funds, also with the management, again, of the crime fund with the amendments that were made. I'm going to be looking into this in conjunction with the Staff Bureau of the Ministry of Justice, meaning with the SG, the Secretary General of Justice. She is responsible, broad-based, for the executive part of the ministry.
Can I have a follow-up, please, just to the same question?
You can go ahead, Bibi.
Minister, do you know if this UNOPS personnel filed an official complaint against the person?
That is what I'm going to investigate. Many that say we do not go based on hearsay, but where there is smoke, there was a fire. So therefore, things just cannot come out of the blue where someone can just, or someone's can just make allegations against an individual who is in part of the management team of the prison, can make such allegations. And like I'm saying, I was busy in the march, and the SG and one of her personnel find it very important to approach me and tell me this. But now that I'm back, I'm going to follow up on it.
Minister, you know, when I asked you about a prison and you brought up the sexual harassment, I was shocked because that's my second question. My second question is, there is an allegation of sexual harassment at one of our primary schools. I spoke to you about the incident this morning, and I'd like to know, Minister, did the Department of DPE that is responsible, and I'm going to call him out, Jason Marks, did he involve the inspectorate in this case? I mean, there's a case that I was personally dealing with, and Mr. Marks dragged his feet, never dealt with the case, and it is the same situation we're dealing with today, and we're talking about a primary school where adults are being accused of sexual harassment within a primary school. What are we doing about this? Have you been informed of this case?
No, Bibi. I was shocked when you gave me that call this morning. And as I told you, I will be following up on that situation. I was handling some other business this morning, so I have not sat with the departments as yet. As I'm saying, I will be sitting with them at 11 o'clock, also preparing for Parliament, I think for tomorrow, with the portfolio of education, culture, youth, and sport. So all that information, I will be investigating. I will be asking questions about it. Like I say, it's an allegation, and it's important for us to find the truth. Whether it is so or whether it is not so. So, and when it comes to sexual harassment or abuse of minors, even though of adults it is wrong, I don't play that with children. I have 5 of my own, so I'm not, and I have 3 daughters, and I will not tolerate sexual harassment or behaviors towards minors or anyone. I'm also a former moral detective. So I have investigated sex crimes. You can tell me what you want. I will smile in your face, and I will arrest you later. I don't play that.
There seems to be widespread support for you maintaining the position of Minister of Justice. All over social media, people are expressing that. I would like to know, were you at any stage involved in the negotiations or the discussions for the formation of a new government? And what do you plan to champion once you enter Parliament?
I am overwhelmed with that support, not only through social media, but also with the thousands, I kid you not, messages that I cannot get to, but I can just scroll through and just see, Minister, we need you back. I will say this, I think I'm the first minister ever, our first politician ever, to get overwhelming support of the country to sit in a seat to govern. My current coalition, basically broad-based, reason it is they have left me out, but the people of this country is getting smarter day by day. When I go into Parliament, I'm already studying the rules of order. I'm not going to put myself in no position that I'm not going to know about. The government will have a problem with this member of Parliament if their work is not being fruitful. Because there will be a next election. And especially if you put somebody in the Ministry of Justice that cannot perform, you're going to kill your entire political career because Mr. Lewis is going to be a member of Parliament. Understand, kid you not, people want me to be in a position, but understand the power of being an elected official, that I won't only touch base on justice. I will touch base on who is the Minister of Rummy, who's the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, who's the Minister of TIAT, VSA, or even the Prime Minister or General Affairs. And it's not personal. If the current coalition that is going to come, that left me out, is doing a great job, anything that they want be supported in Parliament, this member of Parliament will support it. I do not play politics with people's lives.
You said you were left out, but were you at any stage?
Again, I just said I was left out. So meaning I was never invited to have a conversation. And some would say, oh, but after election night, I heard you were in the company of the up party. People, I don't see political party colors. Omar Otley did give me a call, but if people would know further, my mother is an Otley. Okay, I am a Otley. And if anyone wants to speak to me, whether being in politics or business or those from the block, I will have that conversation with them. My loyalty lies with my country. After election, I don't see political colors. I see a group of people that has the mandate to move this country forward. And I am one of those individuals. Yeah, my attendance wasn't great in the Council of Ministers. But any one of them can tell you, I'm the only minister that has stacks of files, also when I'm sitting in the Council of Ministers, reviewing and making decisions on behalf of the people of this country. That is my job. My job cannot be in meetings continuously that is not being fruitful. So if today I am being denied to serve my country for that, then it's okay. Because any capacity or any position that I've served as a legal advisor for 3 ministers before, any capacity that you put Lyndon Lewis in, he will perform.
You sound very hurt by this.
It is not even hurt, it's the disrespect.
Okay.
It is called disrespect because up to today, I also learned from a group of people that met with the Prime Minister up to this morning, and the Prime Minister told them, I did not declare independence. What is that? I'm telling you, I do not play politics. The people made their decision from 176 votes just in January to 440-something votes. And like I tell people, $0. $0. I didn't have to give no one not even $1. I didn't even have to campaign. You know why? Because my work spoke for itself. I also mentioned in the Council of Ministers before, If we stop thinking about elections and work for this country, our work will surpass in votes than any other person outside trying to come in. That is the reason why the people then made their decision at the polls. Again, it is not that I'm hurt of becoming the Minister of Justice again. That's what the people want. I should never want to be in office more than the people want me to be. They made their voice very loud. And if the current coalition refuse to continue the way that we started, because we did not have our 4 years, if you tell me you want to make that decision after, it's okay. But right now, this is dirty politics, and I will say it publicly.
On August 28th, the National Recovery Program Bureau, NRPB, presented the 2023 financial audit reports to the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Luc Marcelina, and Minister of Finance, Marinka Gums. These audits, covering 7 projects totaling over $400 million from the St. Martin Trust Fund, marked the 6th consecutive year of clean, unqualified audits for the NRPB. Conducted by a local firm and accepted by the World Bank, these audits fulfill the fiduciary requirements essential for all NRPB finance projects. The full audit reports can be viewed on their website at www.nrpbsxm.org/official publications.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah, your social health insurances.
Mentioned in the past that you're working on the road tax ordinance. So could you explain to us how much is collected based on the vehicles that we have in St. Martin, and how much is actually budgeted for in the island budget? And the Minister of Finance mentions she's working on the budget for the upcoming year. So will that budget amount change based on the fact that they're going to, I assume, lose money in the general coffer, since it will go into the road tax based on the ordinance?
For the total amount collected in road tax, I don't have that figure at hand. I'll have to get that back for you. And with regard to the road repairs, the road fund, the cost for maintaining roads is held by infrastructure management. We currently have a project budgeted of 5.6 million guilders for resurfacing. And then there's a project for new surfacing, hard surfacing of existing roads that's held at New Works. With the cuts with the projected move of the fund allocated for road tax towards the road fund, indeed, there will be a cut within the general government pot. And of course, with the cuts anticipated to the general budget, we are anticipating a shortage in our general operation budget for VROMI. The staff has also expressed their concerns regarding what that would mean in terms of not only operation, but also the ability to also hire. As you know, there are a number of vacancies within the ministry. The aim has been, of course, to see how we can get those filled in the medium term. Of course, with the recent cuts, that would be impacted. So one of the things that we have been working on, and I think I've said it a few times before, is there's a number of ongoing discussions between the ministry and the Dutch government regarding capacity support. That is still ongoing discussions of what we can do. But of course, the idea would be that the Dutch government would supply us with capacity, of course, with the intention that that support is also done in a way that allows for transfer of knowledge and expertise as well. With regards to the budget cuts that we are anticipating for VROMI, they are several, and we're trying to work as efficiently as we can. Because I think one of the things that we want to focus on is enhanced quality and service. So we have to see what priority areas are, and those, of course, are for the ministry, drainage and road surface quality. Those have been major challenges for a number of years. So whatever we do will have priority towards those two elements.
Perhaps I'm not clear. With the implementation of the road fund, I believe it will translate into a net drain on the general budget. How is that negative amount going to be handled in the general budget, since the Council of Ministers is in the process of making that budget now? Right? So in other words, with the road fund, more money will be allocated to the roads, which means less money will go to the general budget. How is that deficit going to be handled in the general budget?
So I think I did answer that question where I said, indeed, there will be a loss to the general budget. In terms of how we fill that gap, that has to be discussed still within the Council of Ministers.
But it will be taken up and addressed in this budget?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yep.
When addressing the trench cleaning and all the other cleanup that is taking place, I did not hear you mention anything about the collaboration between the French and Dutch with the car wrecks. I'd like for you to give us an update on that. Also, we are in a peak of the season, like you said. What is the status of the pumps that we have at the various, in case there's heavy rain and, overflowing ponds? And if you can also tell us, there were a number of building permits that were held back when you initially took office because of review. Can you tell us how many of those permits have been executed, and if any of the permits have been retracted because of whatever reason, for it being issued?
With regards to collaboration on the French side, we are still in discussions. It's important to note that the vice president in charge of that collaboration, of that initiative, has been out due to personal reasons. And she returned to the office this week, and we are going to establish communication. Unfortunately, that communication was not able to be established due to her absence, unfortunately. So that is still something that we are very much interested in, and that we have already gotten the okay from her cabinet that she is still very much willing to have discussions around that, and we are, of course, very open to that collaboration, being on such a small island. With regards to the pumps, as you know, the pumps weren't working, and they were repaired shortly, about a month ago. Currently, what we're experiencing now is that in what is commonly called the VROMI yard, how to explain to it, the stand at which the pipes rest on has been sinking into the pond, and we are actually busy now with a sheet piling operation to stabilize the pump, that then the water can effectively pump not only the pump 2, which is currently the one working, but also pump 1, which is still damaged. In the meantime, we have noticed already the advantage of having the pump back in place, and this afternoon there will be discussions carried out still regarding the sheet piling to sustain and support the current system that exists in the Great Salt Pond. And then finally, the number of permits that were held back, and I think let's be clear, there were no permits held back. I think definitely it was for review, but every single permit that has come to the desk without much concern has been passed. The only permits that have flagged the attention of my person, the cabinet as well, are those which I indicated in the past would have a direct and heavy impact on the energy supply of the country. Those are the permits, of course, which by law of being the concession agreement of GBE, we have to discuss with GBE ahead of granting those permits. That has never been done in the past. I have started doing that. But every other permit has gone forward. With regards to the questionable, question about the properties of concern, particularly in the Simpson Bay area, there have been a number of lob verzoeken, so that's essentially where any citizen in St. Martin can request documentation related to a permit process or any documentation within government. We have received about 3 or 4 of those requests related to properties, developments that are ongoing in Simpson Bay area, and those have been fulfilled and documentation have been handed over. Those permits, as you would recall, are not signed by me, so that I can't withhold those permits per se. Those are just permits that I have to now hand over information from. To date, I have not held back any permits. The permits are still under review, and there's a number of them, about 3 of them, I actually will be making a decision on today.
Social and health insurance is SXM. Your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah. Your social and health insurance.
And grief gripped the second day of school at the Christiana Least Primary. One of the students died on Monday, and his teachers and classmates struggled Tuesday to process the loss. Support was dispatched to the school following the tragic incident. Krista Campbell has this primetime news follow-up.
DJ Sanchez, that's the big DJ that we know in Jamaica.
Trayvon Sanchez, the 10-year-old vibes master at the Manchester-based Christiana Least Primary and Infant School. His journey to the 6th grade cut short on the first day of school on Monday after a Range Rover plowed into the vehicle his mother, a policewoman, was driving with him. His father says he was washing his car with plans to meet up with his son at school.
Monday morning, first 2 days of school, I'm always present, because, it's a different era where everybody are trying to get the fathers, them, and everybody if you just take part in the activities them with your kids.
Bevon Sanchez has 2 daughters. Trayvon was his only son. He says on hearing the tragic news, he dropped everything and rushed to be with his family.
On the way to Sparlings, seeing the accident scene on the side of the road, it was traumatizing. I said, this don't look good, none at all.
With news of Trayvon's passing, he says he's trying to be strong for his family. Young Trayvon's school family, though, is finding it harder to do that. In his grade 6 class on Tuesday, drawings and letters from the friends he left behind. One letter to Trayvon's family, lamenting their loss and explaining how good of a person Trayvon was to everyone. His teachers shared memories.
He was pretty much a vibrant student, very cunning sometimes, but it was all fun. Whenever he walked out of the classroom, he would be one of the persons running back to his seat and sitting and looking as innocent as ever, like he didn't do anything. And so, yes, indeed, he will be missed.
Trayvon was my pari. He was the person when I got in the class with my clown self, he was the one to just lead everybody on.
The Education Ministry's Region 5 has started grief counseling with students and teachers, but Garcia Ratri Arancibia says it's particularly difficult for her.
Last night, I watched the video about 50 times. I couldn't go home. I just drove until I went to Mandeville yesterday, and then when I go home, when I went home, my stomach got tight. It was just so bad. And then this morning, driving back to work, and I just passed the scene and saw the
She says students are not coping well either.
They are trying to do the best they can to cope with the situation, but it's very difficult. Life just cut short, and nobody saw it coming. It's just. And then I saw this video where he was probably modeling his new shoes, and I was anticipating that he would come, miss, and he pull up the foot and show me the shoes, and he was that kind of kid. So it's just sad to see that he had that video done. I did not get to see any of it.
So it's very hard to see, a Monday morning and everybody have them child to go out, and you look forward to hear all the good stuff. And all the stuff that will happen after school, you're looking forward for that this evening, And it just never happened. Right now, his mother still not stable. And we're just still hoping for the best with her, that, we can still have a part of him left,
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.